the radio, but you cannot see the achievements physically. But we thank God that he is a governor that you can see his achievements physically. I also would like to appreciate members of the State Executive Council here present, the Chancellor, Mrs. Folorunso Alakija, a businesswoman and philanthropist of note with a sincere desire to help the needy, a fashion icon with an infallible sense of style, a household Christian who draws her strength from her unfaltering belief in the power and glory of God. UNIOSUN is indeed very lucky to have her as the Chancellor. The Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of the Council, Professor Abiodun Adewale Oladipo, a scientist of international repute, a seasoned academician with over 3 decades of notable contribution to existing knowledge and innovative research, an astute administrator and politician passionate about the socio-economic development of Nigeria. I'm making this introduction because you will see why I'm doing all this, because at the end of the day, you will see that a university will only grow if you have people that can develop that university. And now that we have 274 universities in Nigeria, we need to understand exactly what we are doing and where we are going. And Osun State University, I will anchor Osun State University as a model, you know, that others can actually follow. And I will tell you the reason in the course of this lecture. I also want to quickly acknowledge other members of the council, but let me say that Professor Abiodun Adewale Oladipo is represented here by Professor Remi Awuremi. So thank you very much for representing him. And we also have with us some other members of council. Mrs. Oludayo Olawale, thank you very much. The alumni president is here, and we have the internal members of council. You are all greatly acknowledged. Now let me come to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Odunayo Clement Adeboye, an internationally acclaimed scholar, academician, and researcher. You are lucky to have him. He's a leading light in grantsmanship, who is nationally and internationally recognized. In fact, we were discussing this morning, and I said that I'm very sure that his colleagues would have been querying him why he decided to take up an administrative appointment, because most researchers will not like to take up administrative appointment, but in our climate it is important. Now, I have seen our motto in OAU is for learning and culture. So when we see our royal fathers, we recognize them specially. So I will say, so, and I expect you to join me to welcome our royal fathers. Thank you very much. So we also have the Olori. So we welcome you, ma. Let me also mention at this point that we have the Olori also to the Vice Chancellor, who is seated here. So thank you very much, ma, Mrs. Adeboye. So I can see the way people are reacting. It's as if I've actually let the cat out of the bag. So now we have our Lord spiritual and temporal members of the university community, friends of the university and stakeholders, invited guests, our graduates, students of Osun State University, and other students in attendance, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm speaking on analysis of contemporary challenges in Nigeria, implications for the delivery of quality education at the tertiary level. Now, we are going to start by looking at what we have been able to do. And I would like to start my introduction by saying that analysis of contemporary challenges in Nigeria, implications for the delivery of quality education at the tertiary level, that as we gather to celebrate the achievement of our graduates, we must also critically examine the landscape in which they will navigate and contribute to society. Now they are going out and they are going to be contributing to society. What are they going to meet when they leave this place? We are happy that in spite of all the odds, they have been able to make it to this level. And I congratulate them, and I pray that they will continue to climb the ladder of success. Nigeria, with its vast human and natural resources, holds enormous potential. However, it faces a range of contemporary challenges that impact every aspect of national life, including the delivery of quality education. To understand these challenges and their implications for tertiary education, we must first examine the broader socio-economic, political, and technological landscape in which they arise. Nigeria is regarded as the giant of Africa. It's a land of immense potential, blessed with abundant natural resources, yet it grapples with a myriad of challenges that threaten its progress. The narrative of contemporary Nigeria is a tale of two nations, one brimming with promise, and the other struggling with poverty, inequality, and insecurity. And I want to let you know that Nigeria is not the only country that is in that condition. When you go to South Africa, a lot of people see South Africa as a developed country, but in that country you will see the first world, you will also see the third world. So we are not the only one. Despite its oil wealth, Nigeria has been unable to effectively harness its resources. Corruption, mismanagement, and a lack of infrastructure have hindered economic development. Most of the population lives in poverty, while a small elite enjoys immense wealth. It is not surprising that this inequality is increasingly fueling social unrest and discontent. The narrative of contemporary Nigeria is a complex one, filled with both hope and despair. Despite its challenges, Nigeria remains a nation with immense potential. Other African countries still describe Nigeria with the appellation Big Brother. When you go to other African countries, if they know you are from Nigeria, they say, oh, Nigeria, Big Brother. Because now, but it is now becoming increasingly clear that this respect is merely by virtue of our large population, because we are 233.8 million this month, which is currently about 1/7 of the population of Africa. The whole of Africa is 1.52 billion. The country's young and vibrant population, the highly committed Nigerian intellectuals, professionals, and researchers, coupled with the abundant natural resources in the country, offer a glimmer of hope for the future. There is no country in the world that you get to that you will not find Nigerians. And when you see them there, they are doing so well. So the question is, why are we not doing well, at home? Why are we developing other people's countries and we cannot develop our own? So why is it that as a Nigerian, when you get to any place, you will excel, but when you are at home, you are repressed? So now my challenge to our graduates is that never allow Nigeria to happen to you. So you have to struggle and you have to ensure that you get to the top wherever you are. So take leadership anywhere you are. It is possible. I mean, when I was employed in OAU, 3 of us were employed the same day. We were interviewed and employed the same day. 2 of them left to travel outside the country. Today, they are doing very well, so outside the country, but I'm also not doing badly, coming back home. We both traveled out and I came back. So that's why when I see people talk about the Japa syndrome, you want to go, it is not everybody that should go and stay outside. If you cannot make it in Nigeria, it's unlikely that you will make it outside. So that is the truth. That is the truth. But it's very important for you to go outside and see what is going on there. But the issue of Japa, you know what Japa means? That is no more coming back. So that should not be your aim. You go out, you develop yourself, and then you come back. At best, I'm telling you this one, at best, you put one leg in Nigeria and put another leg outside. So many of us that are here today, if you want to go to any country, we are very free to go. They will be happy to have us because we have what it takes to be there. But we are here. And so they even beg us to come and help them. So you can develop yourself to that level, but don't have the impression that you will never come back to Nigeria. Whether you like it or not, East or west, home is actually best. So now the background history of Osun State University, to me, is very intriguing. It impresses people when you see what Osun State University has been able to do. At the October 2006 Independence Day speech to the people of Osun State, the then governor, Prince Olagunsoye Oyinlola, announced that the government had decided to establish a state-owned university and that necessary machinery was being set in motion to ensure the university takes off within 1 year of the announcement. The speech was delivered on his behalf by his deputy, Her Excellency Erelu Olushola Obada. During the next 11 months, activities moved at a frenetic pace, driven first by the planning committee and later the implementation committee to deliver on the promise of establishing a world-class institution for the state of the living spring. And I'm quoting Akinrinade 2012, and I'm glad that Professor Akinrinade, the pioneer vice chancellor of this university, is actually joining us online. So, and he had actually documented the first 5 years of this university, very comprehensive history. And I want to thank the registrar, for making this available. Now, the Professor Peter Akinshola Okebukola, OFR, a renowned academic and former executive secretary of the National Universities Commission, was appointed to lead the technical committee charged with the responsibility of developing a blueprint for the establishment of the university. His leadership and expertise were crucial in shaping the vision and framework for the new university. Following the conclusion of the work of the planning committee led by Professor Okebukola, the National Universities Commission on 21st December 2006 granted formal recognition to the university, which was licensed as the 30th state and 80th overall university in Nigeria. Today, we have 274 universities in Nigeria. 274, that's what we have today. Prince Olagunsoye Oyinlola signed the Osun State University Establishment Law of 2006. The university admitted its first set of students on September 21, 2007 with a formal ceremony and the symbolic registration of the first undergraduate by the governor. The pioneer vice chancellor, Professor Shola Akinrinade, an erudite scholar, keen researcher, and astute administrator, was documented for the records the first 5 years, which I said earlier. Over the last 17 years, and this is very important, UNIOSUN has steadily built its reputation and gained its status among universities in Nigeria and beyond. The institution has achieved tremendous success on all fronts: development of robust academic programs, physical and infrastructural development of the human resource capacity, increased student enrollment capacity, and international collaboration. It is significant and worthy of note that the university graduated its pioneer class on 21st May 2011, precisely at the end of its fourth academic session, and it likely has maintained a stable academic calendar since then. I think that deserves a round of applause. You see, UNIOSUN needs to be commended for this feat in a largely unsupportive socio-political and economic environment. So how did UNIOSUN achieve that? Why is it impossible for other universities to be able to do it? So, and I'll tell you why. UNIOSUN was able to achieve that because when UNIOSUN, first and foremost, brought together eggheads, knowledgeable people in university governance to structure the university, to lay the foundation. And they also had another group, to plan the implementation of the university. And when the council members were to be appointed, they didn't just appoint cronies. They didn't appoint people that they know. This one is my cousin. This one is from my hometown. This one is from my village. They didn't do that. The governor did not do that. What he did was to ensure that all the members of council were either professors of very seasoned administrators. And so in here, I have a list. In fact, the first thing that the governor did was to make sure that all the 6 government nominees on the council were experienced academics, and the entire council was composed of seasoned academics and university administrators. When you look at the name, in fact, in the list here, you have 21 members, including those in attendance, and you find that 14 of them were professors. And the university has maintained that since then. What do you have in Nigeria today? You have a situation where you want to establish a university. It's announced, you don't even know the town where the university will be. It is after the announcement that people will start putting heads together. Which town are we going to put it? And all towns will start fighting for where to put the university. When Obafemi Awolowo University was to be established, the government of the Western region, they took 50% of the budget of the Western region for that year, for the year. They gave it to Professor Oluwasanmi, and all the initial buildings, academic area, all the administrative, the staff quarters, the student quarters, they used that money to put up those things. And they did not just give that money. They went for the best architect in the whole world, as at that time, Ariel Sharon. It was the same architect that designed Obafemi Awolowo University, that designed the modern state of Israel. The same architect. So they went for that architect, and they brought him. And today, in OAU, we say Africa's most beautiful campus. So, but it just didn't come like that. Some people had that vision, and that is what Osun State University is enjoying today. And my own plea to the alumni, I'm glad that the alumni president is here. You are graduating now, you are also members of the alumni. My plea to you is that you should please maintain that. If you maintain that, you will see that Osun State University will continue to rise higher and higher by the grace of God. So now, what are the problems in Nigeria, the contemporary challenges? Because that's what I'm supposed to be talking about. But as we sit down, we all know the contemporary challenges in Nigeria. If I ask all of us sitting down here now, how did we get here? So how much did we buy fuel to get here? Some people have their cars, but they now ride the Legacy's Benz. You know what Legacy's Benz is? Or foot wagon. So because they cannot fuel it. So the contemporary challenges in Nigeria today, I'll just list them because we know them. I'm not going to waste so much time on it. You have high unemployment rates. You have graduates, and they are graduating and they can't get jobs. But let me say this here, that most of our graduates, you are graduating now, and I want to leave you with this. There is more than enough in Nigeria for you to be able to make it, if you think. If you think. Now, people will come to you. They have read masters, they have PhD. They ask me to write references for them. They want to go and take up a clerical job on level 4. And I ask them, can't you think of any other thing? So, but when you also see some of them who are, even while they are in school, they are already into a lot of things, and they are making a lot of money. I'm not talking of Yahoo, I'm talking of legitimate business. So what the university can do for you is the issue of entrepreneurship, which is also in Osun State here. And so you can always link up with the alumni and everything. The alumni president can also assist in that direction. I believe that there is hope for each and every one who is graduating in the country, and there is hope for you. Now you have inflation and economic instability, and then we also have political challenges. There is corruption and governance issues. And then we also have inconsistencies in government policy, which is affecting all of us. Then in terms of the social challenges, we have our ethnic and religious conflicts. And then there is a lot of insecurity in the country. Banditry, kidnapping, so many things are going on in the country. And we also have our technological challenges, the digital divide and the limited access to technology. Those are very serious issues. And then in most parts of the country, we have a lot of abandoned projects. Now, we also have public health crisis, and then we have the issue of climate change and environmental degradation. Now, let me focus on the specific challenges in the education sector. I said Nigeria has the highest number of out-of-school children in the world, with the figures estimated to be about 13.2 million in 2018. This was before COVID-19 pandemic, and we are sure that by now it must have gone far beyond that. So somebody writing, that's Omikunle, writing in the online version of Vanguard newspaper of July 17, 2020, noted, and I quote, "It has never been more critical to review the state of education in Nigeria, the strength of the system and the quality of our teachers. Over the years, access to quality education in Nigeria has been hugely dependent on one's family's socio-economic circumstances, among other factors. However, with the spread of the coronavirus, COVID-19, access to technology has become the ticket to continuing learning, further exacerbating the divide between the more advantaged and the less advantaged." Now, a lot of meetings go on online, a lot of things, and our internet facility is so poor, it's so appalling. So there is a challenge, very serious challenge in that. And let me quote what Okigbo said a university should be. So Okigbo in 1981 described what a university should be. He said, and listen to this, he said, "Among objects of human enterprise, I may say it surely without extravagance, gentlemen, none higher or nobler can be named than that which is contemplated in the erection of a university. To set on foot and to maintain in life and vigor a real university is confessedly, as soon as the word university is understood, one of those greatest works, great in their difficulty and their importance, on which are deservedly expanded the rarest intellects and the most varied endowments. For first of all, it professes to teach whatever has to be taught in any whatever department of human knowledge, and it embraces in its scope the loftiest subjects of human thought and the richest fields of human inquiry. Nothing is too vast, nothing is too subtle, nothing is too distant, nothing too minute, nothing too discursive, and nothing too exact to engage its attention." There is nothing that you cannot discuss in the university. But in our country today, are we making use of our universities? If you have the universities, how are we contributing to national development? And I am hoping that one day this oil, this petrol that is this petroleum that is causing all the havoc will dry up. So then maybe we will think, we will put on our thinking cap. But because now it's so easy to do anything, to rule the country, to do whatever you want to do, it's so easy. Because all it takes is for oil to be sold, and then you distribute the money and everybody is okay. So as a country, we are not being paid for the job that we do. We are being paid from the endowment that God has actually given to us. But when it comes to a situation, there was a time when I traveled and I came back, and somebody said, you were at Harvard as a visiting professor. We didn't know that you would come back. What did you come back to do? So in a very funny manner, I told him, I said, this is the only country where you can stay off work for 1 year and you will still be paid. I said it doesn't happen in any other place. And that is the truth. So if you are absent for 1 hour, you will not be paid for that hour. So, but in Nigeria, if you are off work, so for 1 year, you will still be paid. So, and why is that so? Because you are not being paid from the money that is being generated. So you are being paid from something that is coming from somewhere. So, and that is the issue. So I just hope that we will rethink and know that you are going out now. So you are graduating. Please think and know that you have to work to earn a living. So whatever is coming, there is nothing that is free. People say it, even in Freetown, it's not free. So you have to pay for everything. Now, a university is meant, among other things, to generally cultivate the mental skills of both staff and students, to symbolize and maintain in society the respect for intellectual excellence, truth, honesty, curiosity, and inquisitiveness. More importantly, a university should provide a home for deviants or alienated individuals who do not readily accept the current values of groups dominant in the polity or the economy. I am not, you see, one day we were having a meeting in the conference center, and then somebody just barged into the place. And then he said, somebody blocked me outside, and I've been waiting there. So, and the person has not come to remove it, and I'm told that the person is in the... They said, don't you know that the vice chancellor is here? I said, leave him. So I said, where did you graduate? He said, OAU. I said, great Ife. He said, great. I said, that's Ife. So you don't expect that somebody will block you and then you'll be sitting there like a mumu. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. I said, yes, the vice chancellor may be there, but he has told you he's being blocked and you are not taking any, the security people didn't do anything. And now you expect him to sit down there. I said, you are the right OAU person. I said, so who is that person parking the car there? The person should go and remove it. So that is the kind of person that you want to train as a university. You don't want to train somebody who will just go somewhere and they will be marching on your head and everything, and then you are saying you leave everything to God. Yes, you can leave everything to God. But so anyway, you know, when I was being interviewed for the position of vice chancellor, the chairman of council asked me, he said, you see, you are bright, you are everything, but you look too gentle. That you look too gentle for OAU. You know, it's a very, I said, sir. I said, do you want me to respond? He said, yes, I should go ahead. I said, yes, I was that gentle. I was head of department for 12 years, and I did well. I was this gentle, and I was dean, and I did well. I was this gentle. I contested the election. I became provost, and did well. So I don't want people to see me as somebody who is not gentle, because then I will lose my strength. So I want to be seen as a gentle person, and then that can perform. So give me that opportunity, and I will use my gentleness to do what you expect me to do. So that is it. So I'm not saying you don't have to be aggressive, but go out there and go and get what you want. And that will be my charge to you. Now, let us talk about the poor funding in our universities. I have always believed, I'm not reading from here because this is written and it will be distributed, but I will just keep through and make some points. Let me tell you, I'm somebody who had always believed that the problem with our higher institutions, universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, is not funding. The problem is not funding. So if the problem is funding, Osun State University will not be doing so well, because Osun State is not one of the richest states in Nigeria, but the university is doing well. So the problem with our universities is the leadership. And I will tell you something which you may not believe, but that is the truth. As vice chancellor, I went into that office with a lot of high hopes, a lot of ideas. I will do this, I will do that, I will do that. And I knew, and it was so simple to do most of those things. Then I realized that if I go into any of those things, the possibility is that I will not be able to walk around again after being Vice Chancellor. Why? Because I will be involved in a lot of things, corruption, stealing money here, getting some people money somewhere. So the major challenge in the country is not the money. The major challenge is the corruption that is in the system. Believe it or not. So decent people will not like to be involved. And so when they tell you they are going to give you this, they are going to give you that, and you are sure that getting involved in that kind of thing, it will be very difficult for you to defend it, you rather close your eyes to whatever they are doing and you go your own way. And that's why we are not making progress. There is enough money in this country to do what we want to do. There is enough money in this country for the universities to get to any level. So, but we really need to sit down and look at the way we have structured our processes. Now, the establishment of universities in Nigeria. My own take on the establishment of universities is that 274 universities is not too many. You can have as many universities as possible, but let there be a vision and a mission to every university. A lot of people believe that they have established primary school, they have established secondary school, and the next one is to establish a university. And they believe that they can make more money by establishing a university. You don't make money from establishing a university. You put money into a university. You don't make money from a university. There are the leading universities in the world are private universities, and that is one thing that we must start to think about. Now, the way things are going, if we are not very careful, within the next 10 years, you will discover that the private universities will overtake the federal and the state universities. But I'm sure Osun State will not be one of such universities. And Obafemi Awolowo University will not be one of such. And University of Lagos will not be one of such. So what we need to do is to know that the primary schools today, the public primary schools are not functioning. The public secondary schools are no longer functioning. So it started from the primary schools to the secondary schools, and now, if we are not very careful, we are getting to the level of the universities. So, and if we are able to take some decisions, so we will be able to reverse the trend. And then let me also say something about the quality of teaching and research. You know, in Nigeria, you have the best brains in this country. Take it or leave it. I've been to many of the African countries, and what we are able to do in Nigeria, they cannot do. But the encouragement is not there. So I was discussing with somebody today. I said, in most African countries, when you are an academic, you are a university lecturer, you are not just dependent on your salary. There are allowances that they pay. In fact, I was just giving an example that in Sierra Leone, for example, I was amazed to know that every month they give them a fuel allowance of 550 liters. Multiply that by 1,000. So to the extent that all of them, there is nobody who is at the very senior level that will not own a house. And because they just take that money and they go and buy their plot of land, they go and buy, they use it to build houses. And they call it petrol houses. Because they don't use their salary to do that. So those are the kind of things that you can do to encourage intellectuals, to encourage the people in the universities to be able to do more. But I hope that our people in power are actually listening. And then our research output. People say that we have low research output. I don't believe that we have low research output. Let me tell you, in my CV, you found that I was honorary visiting professor to the University of the Witwatersrand in South Africa. over a period of 10 years. It was when I became so engaged that I dropped it. And if I could go to that university for 1 month, they will pay my ticket, they pay my salary, they pay everything if I'm able to spend 1 month. So, and over those years, when I write any paper and I put South Africa there, I put the address there, I get paid for it. So when you publish, the university gets some funding, the faculty gets some funding, the department gets some funding, and you, the author, you also get paid for it. That's incentive. But ask any of our universities, how many publications did you have in 2020 or 2021 or 2022? We don't know. And nobody cares to know. But you ask any university in South Africa as we speak now, you call them and say, how many publications do you have in the university as at yesterday? They will tell you the number of publications because they are monitoring it. And when the department is not producing, they call that department. In the last 3 years, you have not been. You know that in those universities, they rationalize. In fact, I was shocked when they told me that a department was going to be rationalized. I said, why will you rationalize a department? Then they said, if they have not graduated enough students for 3 years, or they have not been able to admit enough students for 3 years, or their students leave midstream, they have not published, enough papers for 3 years, then they either merge that department with another department. I said, in our universities, we have departments. Nobody has applied to those departments for 30 years, and they are still existing. You push people from other departments to go to that department, and they are still existing. So those are issues. Those are issues. Now, let me talk about disparities in access to education across regions. Nigeria's education sector is characterized by significant disparities in access across different regions, particularly between the north and south. While southern Nigeria has more developed educational infrastructures and higher enrollment rates, many northern regions struggle with poor facilities. And that's why trying to correct it by using educationally disadvantaged, all these other, no. I think people in those regions, particularly the state governors, they have to be strategic. They have to be strategic about what they need to do. The out of school, the poor infrastructure and everything, they have to sit down. These are things that will not be able to solve all those things. And then let me now talk about curriculum and relevance. The world is moving so fast that universities must continually. Revision of curriculum for 5 years is too late. It's too late. Now every institution must review their curriculum. Imagine somebody graduating now and he or she doesn't know anything about artificial intelligence. And then you want to be able to do things. Well, yes, you will still do it, but those who understand it will move faster than you. You know, a situation where now you just take a chatbot and you put in a sentence. In fact, I was sitting with a colleague and she said, in the last 48 hours, I've been trying to set some multiple choice questions, this and that. I said, why is it difficult? He said, no, I've been having some sleepless nights. I said, do you have your cell phone there? He said, yes. I said, bring your cell phone. So I went into ChatGPT and I said, what is the topic on which you want to set this something? So I said, give me 60 multiple choice questions with 4 alternatives and give me the correct answer on this topic. And the thing just came. And now my colleague got the 60 questions. He was just, I said, 2 minutes. You get it. So, if you are now in the age where you are still spending 3 days to do what you can do in 2 minutes, then you are not there. You are not there. So now, let me, because of our time, so I want to go to this issue of the university autonomy. You see, you cannot run a university. You want to run all universities in Nigeria. You want to run all federal government establishments from Abuja. It's not possible. Even in a country with a population of 2-3 million, it's almost impossible, not to talk of a country with a population of over 200 million. All civil servants, all universities, and universities by their structure are supposed to be able to regulate themselves. There is something that is going on in Nigeria now, and I must use this opportunity to correct that. A lot of people say that the CCMAS, they call curriculum minimum academic standard, that they are not accepting it. How did it come about? The NUC, the National Universities Commission, will put people together and then they draw a curriculum, and that is given to all universities. So 100% of what we were teaching in all Nigerian universities came from NUC, to the extent that when you deviate from it, you will not be accredited. But now, NUC said, look, we will allow universities to put in 50% gradually, so that eventually we phase it out. And then the Vice Chancellor said, no. Some Vice Chancellor said, we don't have the capacity to even to develop any curriculum. So let us continue. No, the NUC said no. And then they agreed that, okay, let's take 30% the next time we go further. And then NUC now put some people together to develop 70%. Every university will put in 30%. And everybody started shouting, NUC has taken over the whole thing. When NUC was giving 100, what did they say? What did they say? I don't like, for me, I like things that are very straightforward. Do it, and if you cannot explain it, don't do it. So for me, I want to say that gradually every university should be able to develop their own curriculum 100%, as is done in other areas. Yes, that is the standard. But let us accept that we decided, the Vice Chancellors decided collectively that they cannot go for 50%. They want to go for 10%. If they want to go for 100%, why not? NUC will not object to that. I don't work for the NUC, but I know, the feeling of the people. Now, the other autonomy is that when federal government decides to give councils, and the councils do not have any input from the university, that is not good enough. But what we have now is that federal government brings some members, then you have internal members of a council. But when it gets to the places that are important, I think that the universities should have more input. For example, you want to select a vice chancellor, you want to select a bursar, you want to select a registrar. I think members of the university, if it's proper autonomy, when you go to other institutions, like you go to, let me use South Africa as an example, students vote when they want to appoint vice chancellor. Even the students will vote. The staff, everybody gets involved because it's a collective thing. It affects all of them. But in Nigeria, who selects the vice chancellor? You have the chairman of council, and you have 2 other internal members of council. Then you have 2 members of senate. The 2 members of senate can score whatever they like. If the 3 internal members of council decide that is what they want, you cannot overturn their decision. So we need to take a second look at the issue of autonomy for Nigerian universities. Now, what are the implications of the IPPIS? I'm not going to go into that, but I'm glad that the federal government is now saying that they are returning the salaries of staff and everything to their individual institutions. And I think that is a good starting point. And I think the government deserves some kudos for being bold enough to take that decision. That is the right way to do. I think, what we need to do now is for the government to speed it up and do it, not just saying it, but they must bring it into action So each university must be able to pay their staff. When I became Vice Chancellor in 2017, it was possible at that time to appoint on temporary basis for 1 year as Vice Chancellor. Oluwasanmi and all the other Vice Chancellors were going abroad to recruit. I have it here, but time will not permit. The horticulturist that they used in Ife, Oluwasanmi and some people went to the UK to recruit the person, and they brought him to Nigeria, and that's what you see in Ife there. But 2017, it was still possible for a Vice Chancellor to appoint, and then you regularize within 1 year. 2018, you have to take permission from 3 government agencies. 2019, you have to take permission from 5. 2020, you have to take permission from 7. And then today, now, you have to go to National Assembly, Senate, and the House of Rep to take permission before you can employ. And then you know what that means. If you have to go to 9 agencies of government because you want to employ a messenger or a clerk or a professor or something. So now, when our key personnel suddenly resign in the universities, you can't replace them. So I think the issue of autonomy is so important. Now, let us talk about, because my time is fast spent, let me go straight to the issue of quality assurance, which I think is also very important. You know, improving the quality of education in Nigeria requires a strong focus on the professional development of educators. Continuous professional development, CPD programs, should be mandatory for all faculty members, providing opportunities for training in modern teaching methods, technology integration, and research skills. Regular workshops, seminars, and online courses can help educators stay updated on the latest trends and innovations in their fields. Additionally, mentorship programs and collaboration with international institutions can expose Nigerian educators to global best practices, enhancing their teaching and research capabilities. There is an institute, that is the Virtual Institute for Capacity Building in Higher Education. That institute has trained so many people. In fact, I was just coming in quite a number of people who are saying, we are on that current program, we are on that, because there is a current program now on grantsmanship and fundraising that is going on, Module 9. The last one was on artificial intelligence. So it's possible now, without leaving your home, without leaving your institution, to get educated. And so we need to take advantage. Virtually, you can audit any program anywhere, in the world, and we should take advantage of that to improve quality. Enhancing research facilities and funding. To boost Nigeria's global standing in higher education, it is essential to strengthen the research capacity of its institutions. I want to commend the Tertiary Education Trust Fund here. So I wonder what would have happened in Nigeria if there is no Tertiary Education Trust Fund to support research, in this country. And our industries should do better than what they are doing now. They should support the universities in terms of research. Now, let me start to conclude. The challenges facing Nigeria's tertiary education system are multifaceted and deeply rooted in the broader socio-economic and political landscape of the country. Addressing these issues is vital for the nation's development and progress. Nigerian educational institutions at all levels must undergo fundamental and critical reforms and restructuring for them to make meaningful contributions to national and global development in this era of rapid technological advancement. Let me borrow the golden words of John F. Kennedy here. And I quote, says, "I do not deny the value of hopes and dreams." You can hope, you can dream. So it has a value. But we merely invite discouragement and incredulity by making that our only and immediate goal. So when you hope and you dream, you have to bring it into reality. But in Nigeria, we are fond of, no, God will do it. This one will do it. So even all the religious books tell us that without concrete action, nothing will happen. So yes, I believe that God can do so many things, but you have to take some steps. Now, if we truly want to redeem our tertiary institutions, we must focus instead on practical, attainable series of concrete actions and effective agreements which are in the interest of all stakeholders. If we are to meet global standards, we must design and implement our educational system at all levels, such that it will respond to the challenges posed by rapidly advancing technology and the new era of artificial intelligence. There will be large shifts in the design of the current systems if this ambition is to be achieved. One major obstacle is that people often hold on tenaciously to what they are familiar with and act only on things that they know. In fact, we were going one day and a very senior person, asked us, said, this place you go that you want to, that time emails were not so common. Said, this place you go to say you want to send email, He said, what is this email all about? A professor. So he said, what is the email all about? So I tried to explain. He said, but what, is it not the same thing as fax? I said, no, they are not the same. So it is the same today. If people are talking and they are talking about artificial intelligence and this and that, and you are a professor, you are a senior lecturer, and you don't know what it is all about, so it is not good enough. So let us, 5-10 minutes, just get accustomed to what it is, and you will see that the world is advancing at a very rapid pace. So if we truly, see, the issue is that if we truly want to redeem our tertiary institutions, we must focus instead on those practical things. So we cannot achieve all this without the staff of our institutions and other educational experts adapting to even rejecting some traditions currently in our educational practice. Our educational system must be designed to support the developmental needs of society and open channels between the education sector and the broader socio-political, economic, and physical determinants of growth and development. Let me now summarize these assertions in a few words. There are certain essential requirements for education to improve in Nigeria and for us to make the required impact. This includes efficient training program for teachers at all levels. And when I say teachers, I include lecturers. An environment free from local hazards, including ethnic, political, and religious strife, insecurity, droughts and floods, and satisfactory standard of living and quality of life that ensures adequate food supply. The government alone cannot effectively promote education, and contributions are necessary from non-governmental sources, including individuals and families and communities. Throughout the world, the responsibility for education is shared between the private and public sectors, with the greater responsibility resting with the latter. So at this point, I think I want to appreciate the management of Osun State University, the council, the management, and every other person who has contributed over the last 17 years to the progress of this university. And I want to once again emphasize that please and please, all those things that you have been doing that made Osun State what it is, that made Osun State University what it is today. Don't renege on those things. You know what happens in Nigeria, and I'm going to leave you with this. When something is good and is moving very fine, they will say, let somebody go there and go and enjoy the place. They are not going to look for somebody who can improve on what is going on there, because it's already okay anyway. So we can send anybody there. So the one that is not doing well, they will look for somebody who is cerebral, somebody who is smart, somebody who is intelligent to go and resuscitate that place. but the one that is doing very well. And I'm glad, and I'm saying this, that we have a governor in the state who is so supportive. I mean, judging by the testimonies of the Vice Chancellor and other members of the man, we can see that the governor has been very supportive of this institution. So, and I'm glad, and I want to appeal, to every other person that has something to do with the university to please ensure that only the best is given to Osun State University. That is the only way to continue to put Osun State University in the line of progress. And when you look at the caliber of people that are here today, you know that the stakeholders are very passionate about this university. And so I thank you very much. So let me just once again thank Osun State University, the Vice Chancellor, and the entire authorities of the university for giving me this opportunity to speak to a great audience like this. As a stakeholder in the Nigerian educational system, I appreciate the opportunity of giving me this important platform to share my views. And as I'm just looking up, I also saw that my in-law is sitting somewhere there, Professor Adegbengbe. So I also will want to thank him and thank the wife, Professor Mrs. Adegbengbe, for being here to also support me, as I'm giving this. So once again, I thank you for your very generous attention.
Please, can we give a rising ovation to appreciate the 14th Convocation lecturer? Please, we can appreciate the Convocation lecturer better. Thank you very much. Please, let's have a seat. UNIOSUN is doing very, very well, attributed to the former OAU Vice Chancellor. Funding is not the issues of universities. If it is funding, UNIOSUN will not be doing well. But UNIOSUN doesn't have the money, but we have the good leaders. If you are a stakeholder of UNIOSUN, can you please appreciate all the management staff of our university? One of the good things about our university is this university is a product of research. While we were doing the Bodope and Folorenshaw Lakija Research and Training Hospital, the people that worked in that training hospital were sent to South Africa, Nelson Mandela Teaching Hospital in South Africa, to go and study how that hospital is. That they believe that is the best teaching hospital in Africa. They want to build something bigger and better than teaching hospital, so that UNIOSUN Teaching and Research Training Hospital will be the best in Africa. So also this university, while they were building this university, according to the former OUVC, he said they put together greatest of the greatest university administrators, and that is why you see our pioneer Vice Chancellor, who came from Ife, and our current Vice Chancellor. They all gathered that, please, let us build a university that will be greater than Ife. So if we tell you that we are greater than Obafemi Awolowo University, you should not be surprised. As a former OUVC, has attributed to that UNIOSUN is doing very well. Can we please appreciate our university? I would like to specially recognize the presence of the KBSA in our midst, the Owa of Otan-Ayegbaju, His Royal Majesty Oba Lukman Adeshola Ojo Fadipe. Can we please shout KBSA? Thank you very much. KBSA is here with his Olori Abolaji Fadipe. Thank you very much for coming, ma. Thank you very much. Also, I would like to specially appreciate the presence of the wife of our Vice Chancellor, who came all the way from Canada to celebrate physically with you. Can we please appreciate Mrs. Rita Adeboye? Thank you very much, ma, for coming in person. You have the opportunity of joining virtually. But she said, because of all these graduates, I want to see them physically. Can we please appreciate her? Thank you very much, ma. Because of our time, we'd like to move on, and I would like to humbly call on the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of our Governing Council, Professor Wale Oladipo, who is ably represented here by a member of the Governing Council, Professor Remy Awuremi, for his closing remarks. Can we please appreciate our Pro-Chancellor as he steps forward?
The Vice Chancellor, our guest lecturer, DVC, the registrar, Bossa, librarian, and my colleague, external member of the Governing Council, KBC, other internal members of the Governing Council, all protocol duly and well observed. Honestly, on behalf of the Chairman and Pro-Chancellor, we sincerely appreciate our guest lecturer. He has been able to identify salient contemporary issues that are militating against Nigerian education and laid more emphasis on quality assurance. And I want to believe my colleagues here, the professors and other lecturers in this university, will definitely tap into important issues raised here. And by so doing, it will add flavor to what we are doing here. Aside from this, the graduates, congratulations once again. You have undergone normal academic tutelage. And at the same time, you are going out there as ambassadors of this university. We believe your entrepreneurial training you have acquired here will go a long way to help you in your pursuit. And my prayer is that God Almighty will provide for you, He will guide and guard you, and you will all succeed in Jesus' name. The President Alumni Association, thank you for your wonderful contribution. There is a saying in Yoruba land, Onilu oni fekutu. Yes, this is your university. It is our university. But I want to say that you even own the university more than any one of us here present today. Tell your colleagues they should learn how to give back to the system that made them. Our guest lecturer has identified that government alone cannot do it. And that is why it is very, very important you people adopt public-private partnership model. In no time now, we are expecting lecture theater that will be donated by alumni members of this university. And God will give you grace to be able to do that. I think this lecture theater is about 750-seater. I believe the 1,500 lecture theater will be donated by an alumnus of this university. You can do it. Please let it be at the back of your mind. And by the grace of God, you'll be able to do this. The university administration. Honestly, we sincerely commend you for what you have been doing. This convocation is a well-planned and well-organized convocation. Right from the point of entry to the venue, arrangement of the graduates and the parents is fantastic. Aside from this, I want to sincerely appreciate the founding fathers of this university that came up with the idea of a multi-campus system. Though it is not cost-effective, ab initio. But thank God for technological innovation adopted by the present administration that made it easy for our people to stand in Okuku and be teaching our students in Ikwetu Ijesha. At the same time, we want to thank the dean, the provost, and the lecturers that will have to drive down from their various campuses to attend one meetings or the other. God Almighty will be protecting you. Finally, the governor of our state, Senator Nuruddin Jackson Ademola Adeleke, is sincerely appreciated for his quick response to the needs of the university. And you will realize that tomorrow, by the grace of God, he will come here to commission the best anatomic complex in Nigeria. This is part and parcel of his contribution. He has done a lot of things. In fact, on behalf of the Governing Council, we want to sincerely appreciate Governor Adeleke for giving the current Governing Council free hand and opportunity to appoint the best principal officers we have on ground now. During the process, he made the council realize that I am not going to be involved. Go and choose the best set of principal officers. And it made it easy for us. And you can see, honestly, they are all performing wonderfully well. Governor Adeleke, thank you. God Almighty will uphold you. He will be with you. And He will grant your heart's desire. Gentlemen and ladies, on behalf of the Governing Council, we want to say thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Council. I would like to specially appreciate the man whom the guest lecturer talked about, that he felt there is a need to build a university that will be bigger than all universities in Nigeria and beyond. The man who gathered all the greatest administrators together to brainstorm and deliberate on how they are going to implement it. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please appreciate distinguished emeritus Professor Peter Okebukola, OFR, the pioneer Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Council of Osun State University. Thank you very much for all that you have done and all that you are still doing to support the university which you laid the foundation. Thank you very much. Also, we have online the pioneer Vice Chancellor of our dear university, Professor Shola Akinriade, who happens to be the current president of the Nigerian Academy of Letters. Thank you very much. Also joining us virtually is a member of our Governing Council, Professor David Oladeji, who is joining all the way from UK. Thank you very much, sir. We sincerely appreciate your presence. To all the dignitaries that are joining us virtually, former DVC Harry, thank you very much. To all the dignitaries that are joining us virtually, we sincerely appreciate you for taking time out of your busy schedule to ensure that you are part of this 14th Convocation Day lecture. As it is our standard practice in this university, that whenever we bring scholars to come and deliberate and provide solutions to issues in the society, the university is always trying to present a token gift on behalf of the university. And I will call on the Vice Chancellor to quickly address us and present that gift on behalf of the university to the guest lecturer. Can we please appreciate the Vice Chancellor as he steps forward?
Well, the Vice Chancellor who loaned me to this university is Professor Ogunbodede. If he had said that time, you know, Vice Chancellors are very powerful. If he had said that time, Professor Adeboye, there is a course in your department. In the world, including angels, can teach. You are the only one who can teach it, so please, in public interest and in research interest to remain in Obafemi University, the chance will not be given. I want to thank you, Professor Ogunbodede, for granting me the secondment to come and serve here as the Vice Chancellor of this university. We appreciate you so, so much. Therefore, on behalf of the university, we have this little souvenir. There is no money inside it. It's just that if someone says you didn't go to Oshogbo, you will be able to show evidence that you were here. Thank you so much, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Shall we please rise for the university anthem? Thank you very much. Please, while we're still standing, the people on the high table will be the first set to leave this auditorium for a group photograph outside. Then later, the KBAC and all the management staff will join them. Please, all the graduates should still stay. They are going to follow the procession to enter the auditorium immediately now. Please, let's quickly abide by this. What's it?